step into the shadowy world of Scarface 1920, where the roaring 20s collide with the organized crime in a thrilling tabletop experience. As a cunning gangster, you'll navigate the treacherous streets of the Prohibition-era city, battling rival mobs, eluding the authorities and building your criminal empire. From illicit speakeasies to high-stakes gambling dens, every move counts as you strategically expand your operations, manage resources and make alliances. But beware! Trust is a luxury in this cutthroat world, and betrayal lurks around every corner. Can you rise to the top, or will you fall victim to the violent underbelly of Scarface 1920? So what is Scarface 1920? Scarface 1920 is a strategic tabletop game that blends elements of resource management, negotiation, deck building, engine building, area control and building out your game. Scarface takes players back to the iconic era of the 1920s, commonly known as the Roaring Twenties. This era was characterized by the prohibition of alcohol, rapid urbanization, the rise of organized crime and flamboyant lifestyles of the wealthy. The game is designed for 2 to 4 players, each assuming the role of a notorious gangster striving to build their criminal empire during the Prohibition era. The objective is to accumulate wealth while avoiding rival gangsters and the authorities or paying them off. Scarface also has the option to play solo. For this mode, special solo cards are added to the game. There are actually quite a lot of main game components. To give you an impression, there is the main game board. 50 to 70% of the game takes place on this board. At the top of the board we have the time track and the newspaper articles that are activated when the time track moves. We can also find the raid cards here. These are activated by either the time track or a player reaching the top of their raid track. On the right is the raid track. Here, for each individual player, your heat is being tracked. In the center you have the zones. These are the areas of the map where you can move from one end to the other. In each zone there are 1 or more districts that the players strive to take control over. Each district will have at least 1 business marker on it. A business can be a casino, a speakeasy, a place with the ladies of the night or a nightclub. The nightclub is an upgrade that you need to unlock. On the board are 3 areas where you need to place your mobsters. You do this when you take some of the standard actions or when the game tells you to place them there. The areas from left to right are the authorities, the prison and the underworld. At the bottom of the board we have the locations where cards need to be placed. From left to right we have the job cards. These can be used to get jobs that let you make extra money or give you special advantages. Next to the job we have the dealers. Here you can get extra dealers for your alcohol and guns. Each dealer has a different value in costs and rewards. We have the market. Here you can hire associates. These cards can be added to your deck. Associates can be level 1 up to 5. There are 2 stacks. 1 stack with level 1 to level 3 associates. 4 of them will be available in the market at all times. And 1 stack from level 4s to 5. And there are always 2 available in the market. This completes the first part of the main game components. Next we have our individual player boards and our boss boards. Each player has a player board where their mobsters are placed. You have the slums, the safe house and the headquarters. You can only use mobsters in your headquarters unless stated otherwise. So you need to unlock or recruit the mobsters up the chain. If a mobster dies, he is returned to the slums. If he is hit, he is returned to the safe house. Your boss board has an unlock path. The unlocks can be used as upgrades, but also special unit cards or cash. The boss has 4 special abilities that can be used once you play the boss card. Each boss has its own unique 4 abilities. Scarface 1920 features a turn-based gameplay structure, where players take actions to advance their criminal enterprise. The key mechanics include resource management. Players must balance their resources including money, alcohol, firearms and influence. These resources are crucial for expanding their operations, engaging in illegal activities and defending against rival gangs. Territory control. Players complete to control different locations on the game board, such as speakeasies, casinos and smuggling routes. Controlling these areas provide income, influence and access to available resources. Illegal activities. The game offers various illegal activities for players to engage in, such as bootlegging, gambling, racketeering and bribery. These activities generate income and increase influence, but also carry risks, attracting the attention of law enforcement and rival gangsters. Negotiation and conflict. Players can negotiate alliances, trade routes and forge temporary partnerships to strengthen their positions. However, conflicts between rival gangs can erupt, leading to turf wars, sabotage and intense gameplay moments. Event cards. Randomized event cards introduce unexpected challenges and opportunities, simulating the dynamic nature of the 1920s. These cards can influence the game's direction, triggering law enforcement crackdowns, economic booms or unexpected windfalls. So let's start with the negatives. We found the game very hard to follow. At the start of the game all players have the same cards in hand, but all bosses have different abilities. So once a player plays a boss card, you don't know their powers. When playing for the first time, this can be confusing. But the hardest part is the engine you are trying to build. You might have jobs that you can activate, abilities on cards that might synergize with other cards. This might not sound as much, but if you are playing against 3 other people and they all do their own thing, after a while you have no clue of what they're talking about. Probably because while they are playing their own turn, you should be focused on what you are going to do next. There are a lot of options to choose from. So thinking about what to do is very important, but observing the other players is equally important. Like I said, the game is somewhat hard to follow. The raid system has some unexpected effects. When we played our last game, 2 players were almost permanently activating a raid once in their turn. They had next to no resources left, so when the raid told them to lose resources, that was no problem for them. But all the players get affected by a raid. So the 2 players who were low on heat had to pay money instead of resources. This meant that they were actually punished harder compared to the other 2 players. Why is this game board so big? Lose the space for the associates market. Why not place the market somewhere else on the table? If you rearrange the layout of the board after this, you don't need such a big board. This is an issue because next to the main game board you need to make space to place the player boards of the players together with their boss boards. And you need space to place your jobs, dealers and hand cards on the table. Oops, I forgot your money, the resources and the cheat sheet that you might actually need to take a look at one of the standard actions you can play, yada 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 yada. This game takes up a lot of my table space. So on to the good stuff. There is a lot of variety in this game. The associates you can hire, not one of them is the same. That makes playing them unique. The same can be said for the jobs and the dealers. The time cards and the event cards are all different and they do not always have a negative impact. The raid cards are different too. I can see that after having played multiple sessions of Scarface, there is still a lot of discovering to do. The game has something for every player. Do you enjoy getting into a conflict with your rivals? You can choose to play that way. If you are more of a passive player that tries to build a wall with a big engine behind it, you can play that way. You can go all in on deck building and try to take forever to rearrange your hands. You can pick a mix. It is all fun and games. All strategies can be a genuine winner. The card combinations can be epic. It is fun to play a set of cards and go from looking like you are no force to be reckoned with to being the absolute threat on the board for the other players. Blowing up another player's control marker and looking them in the eyes when you do this. After your turn ends, you can't play any more cards. You need to shuffle and start over. But the fact you are out of cards is an element in the game itself. It triggers an auto sell in the neighborhood you control and you can get some of your mobsters back. I love how they made this simple thing into something different. All in all, we are pretty positive of the game. Now, taking a look forward, is Scarface Bloody Business very different to the original? Well, we can't say anything at this point for sure. According to what is said on the Gamefound page, the game is getting a bit of a streamline by introducing mechanics and elements that multiply the game's narrative power. This brings me in a bit of a conundrum. I wonder how the storyline can enhance the flow of a game. If you want, you can pledge for the original Scarface 9020 with the original stretch goals. They will also introduce 2 new gangs, but they are not part of the expansion. These are paid add-ons, the Golden Oaks gang and the Red Dragon Thong. The campaign will be live on Gamefound on the 21st of June 2023 and we will be definitely taking a look at it. Well, you've made it to the end. Thank you for sticking with us. Please consider to leave a like, comment or consider subscribing. It's free, you know. Thank you for watching and we'll see you in the next video.